Time. I'm not exactly sure where it goes. One thing I do know is that we don't seem to have enough hours in our days. When we're young, we seem to think that we've got all the time in the world. And then, life happens, and before you know it, we're kind of hit with the facts in a restaurant when their server says to you, "Oh, you're a senior citizen, so you get a discount today." I guess that's one of the perks that we have of growing a little older, O-L-D-E-R. So let me tell you, if you have made it to that age, you need to remember and to thank God, because He is the giver of all gifts, and life and time truly are a gift. Heaven sometimes seems such like a far-off place in time and space, but we know that it's a sure thing. But to us, sometimes that are younger, it's just a sometime thing. It's kind of distant from the busy days of our lives, and then one day we realize that it isn't. So today we stop to remember those who have left us since the last homecoming day here at Soundside Free Will Baptist Church. Time almost stopped for their families when they left. We've all been there. That's the way life works, though. But we've learned to trust God, and when we're going through the valleys, we have to wait on Him to provide us with the peace and the comfort that He alone can bring to our hearts. And I promise you, He does, that He will. Sunrise for Billy Ray Maitland was February the 1st, 1949, and his sunset was March 14th, 2025. Billy was 76 years old. Sidney R. Hollis Jr.'s sunrise was May 14th, 1962, and his sunset was January the 20th, 2025. Sidney was 63 years old. He was a former member of Soundside Free Will Baptist Church. Sunrise for James Willard Cahoon was June 25th, 1952, and his sunset was January the 28th, 2025. James was 73 years old. At time, the clock keeps on ticking, and it slowly begins again, and we learn to laugh and we learn to smile again as we remember to think about them, to talk about them, because we all know that we have an extra connection to heaven along with Jesus, because we are promised that we will see them again one day in time. So in the words of Gloria Gaither, the greatest decision we can make in the present is to follow the one who invented time and gave us just a little piece of it. Only He can whisper wisdom for each of the days that we have, and He will teach us to see the eternity in the moment and to give ourselves away for things that last forever. So until then, we must carry on and try to make the very best of the time that each of us has, that God gives us every single day. May God bless you. Now ask Jake if he'll come.
Good morning, church family. I don't know how I always get this, but y'all know I got a big heart, and so I'm going to try to get through this. But today, we want to take a moment and celebrate the life and service of Brother and Deacon James W. Cahoon. Mr. James joined the Deacon Board on January 5th of 1985 and faithfully served for over 40 years. Take that in for a second. 40 years. He led with grace and with wisdom. And on March 31st of the year 2000, he became the chair of the Deacon Board, guiding with a humble and steady hand. At this time, the Deacon Board has prepared a video. This video is a tribute to the legacy, the laughter, the love, and the faith that Mr. James shared with all of us. Let's take a moment to honor Brother James and his lasting impact that he's made on our church family. Carson, will you play the video?
The one that's sticking out to me is he always said, we've got a lot to pray for, but we also have a lot to be thankful for.
I don't know, he used to always say 3 bags full, and that's the one that I remember the most.
Sometimes he'd say, hello, if he asked something, hello. Just to make sure we were paying attention.
Always funny how he could always move his hairline and not his eyebrows. Nobody else can do it. That and his whistle that he does.
Yeah. He'd say, yeah. He'd laugh and say something after. He'd say, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, he did. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, he did. That was my favorite. And I think him and Aunt Mark used to use that as a joke back and forth, too, when he'd go in her house. He would yes, sir, and she'd no, sir, no, sir. So, but yeah. There's 2 types of people in this world. There's people that the sunshine follows around, and there's people that the clouds follow around. And I don't like to stand next to them getting rained on all the time. But he was one that the sunshine was with him, brother.
His sense of humor was what stood out to me more than anything else. Even when things didn't go his way, he had a good sense of humor about it.
He was always smiling. He always had a smile on his face. That was one thing that always sticks with me. It didn't matter. And you never knew when he was feeling bad because he wouldn't tell you. He was just always like that.
He liked to laugh. And that was a joy to be around.
He was just a great spiritual leader. He knew his Bible. And when he taught, he taught from the Word. And I just think his faith and, it just carried on to everybody else around him.
I think he did very much so, not only from from being head deacon. As far as I'm concerned, one of the big men vocal leaders in the choir. One of the, like Royce says about the choir, one of the best teachers this side of Mississippi, as far as his Sunday school lessons and things like that. So, but he did so many things, and so many things behind the scene that, sometimes now it almost gets missed because it was just done. And nobody, I mean, he weren't one that run around looking for credit. He just got it done. So.
Like you said, Mr. James was woven into almost everything, and even places you wouldn't think that he was. Like, you would never think Women's Auxiliary, but he was an honorary member of the Women's Auxiliary, and just he was just such an influence in everything. Different leadership roles. He and Miss Kathy not only did our local church youth group, but they took part in the district and state level, and so they just really encouraged leadership. And so he's so many examples of how he inspired me. Yeah.
Every time I came and listened to him teach a Sunday school class, it inspired me to do more studying and get closer to God.
I was thinking about this today. One of the times that really meant a lot to me was when Mom passed. And the day that and Scooter was at Cragmont. So all of us were at the house, and Brother James asked me if he was willing to go to Cragmont to get Scooter. And he asked me to go, and I told him I couldn't. He said, "That's okay, I'll take care of it. Don't you worry about it. We'll go get him. We'll bring him home." That was also his birthday, and he did that. I mean, Cragmont's 8 hours away on the best driving. Not only that, but he did. He did. Of course, he had prayer many a times. Been a blessing and just inspiration all my life, for the most part. We moved from Gum Neck to Soundside when I was 12, and it was always there.
I guess he inspired me when he come to me and asked me to be a deacon, and I know I'm not worthy of being a deacon as far as how I feel, and I think all of the deacons feel that way, but I mean, he saw something in me, so it just made me a better person.
And he let me know that maybe I didn't realize sometimes the impact that I had on other people, and that there was plenty of people in this church that loved me and wanted me here, I guess.
Yeah, when Sarah and I first moved back to Columbia from Raleigh, I still had 1 foot in and 1 foot out kind of thing. I asked him one day, I said, "Can I talk to you?" And he said, "Yes, of course." I went to his house one day after work, and I told him what I was struggling with, and we had a long talk. And that really helped me, want to be motivated to change, and I'll never forget that day.
Always bring a smile. One, Kathy would always bring a smile to him. Seeing people here at Sunday school, seeing people here at church, would always do it. His grandchildren, his children.
I think the young people, when they did stuff in the church, it really brought him a lot of joy in his life.
Children. He loved the youth, and that always made him happy, I think. To see the youth, because the youth is the church.
Miss Kathy. Definitely. Or Catherine. When she was here, if she come visit, like, he was glowing that day.
I would say the youth, obviously. I think he had a huge impact on the youth, and he had a huge heart for the youth. But I don't know, to me, he always had a smile.
We only have a finite amount of time here. And while we're here, we need to do everything in our power that we can to be winning others to the Lord. And that is one thing that I saw him live.
One thing, I guess, dedicating yourself to serving, to doing the Lord's work. I mean, anything you do, sometimes there's going to be obstacles and hardships, and distractions, but to stay the course.
You need to be fully committed to God. One thing he told me is you have to have a personal relationship. Like, you have to treat Jesus as your best friend. You can't go out on a Friday night and hide from God. He's always with you. And having that personal relationship and bond with God is something that I believe he helped encourage me with.
big shoes to fill. It's going to take a lot of us.
I think all of us have something we've taken away from him. And I believe that in a way we all strive to be like him, because he was such a well-rounded person and a very good Christian man.
Well, I just hope we'll always remember his example of showing our love for one another and being willing to always work together and be like the early church, have a heart of one accord. Because I think that's one thing he exemplified.
He's just laid such a great framework. The relationship that he and the pastor had, I mean, just so many things have been done. And I think that is one of our biggest goals as the Deacon Board, is to try to press forward, ultimately to do the will of God. But I know, at least for me, to some degree, I want to make him proud.
Well, I don't know that the good Lord himself didn't meet him at the gate and open it for him and say, "Come on in here, my good and faithful servant."
I bet James sang a song when he saw God and talked to him. God may have even asked him to sing. And I'm sure he wouldn't hesitate. He probably was singing as he was skipping as he was going through the pearly gates.
A job well done. True and faithful servant.
Thank you. A long time ago, when James and I were both young, we were down on the Sound Shore and having a campfire service. We did that often in those days. And James came over. I was sitting on a picnic table, and James came over to me and he said, "Look at there." And he pointed at Kathy and he said, "Ain't she the most beautiful thing you've ever seen?" I said, "Yeah, I guess so." I know you think so, but that was the first time that James and I really got close, and he turned out to be one of the best friends that I've ever had. And you know, preachers are not supposed to have best friends in the church, but I couldn't help it. And he was just a tremendous friend, but he was the absolute best Sunday school teacher and the absolute best deacon of a church that I have ever worked with, and I've been doing it for 52 years. Absolutely the best. I didn't have to worry about planning everything, because when I started planning it, James was already finished. He had already gone ahead. The Lord had sent the message to his heart to do those kinds of things. And he was just the best. I miss him so bad, deal. I told Fleety things were getting, a couple of weeks ago, really getting next to me because there were so many things to do. And I told Fleety, I said, I need James. I need him. I may need him, but one day I'm going to greet him. How about that? We're going to have, and we want to present to Kathy a plaque to the whole family, actually, and in memory and honor of James. This is the Deacon board that wanted to present this on behalf of the congregation. And Jake, if you'll give me that plaque. Miss Kathy, would you come forward, please? Catherine, would you come to? We would like to give you this plaque, James W. Cahoon, loving and faithful member of our Soundside Free Will Baptist Church family. We do hereby recognize and memorialize James's life and dedication to others through service to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. James was a true blessing to us and a gift from God. For decades of tireless service, unwavering faith, and compassionate leadership, as he served as a church deacon from 1985 to 2025. He chaired the deacon board from 2000 to 2025. And every time we had revival, in the last few years, there was a song that Brother Leonard Bowers sang that he loved so much. And it was called I Want the People to See Jesus in Me. And that's how James was. God bless you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
We also made a resolution that will be a part of the collection that we have here at the church. Resolution in love and memory of Brother James W. Cahoon. Whereas Brother James Willard Cahoon was a faithful and devoted member of Soundside Free Will Baptist Church, who peacefully entered the presence of his Lord and Savior on January 28th, 2025. And whereas he served the Lord and his church faithfully for over 40 years, dedicating his time, talents, and love to the ministry and mission of Soundside Free Will Baptist Church. And whereas Brother Cahoon was elected as a deacon in 1985 and served in that capacity for 40 years with humility, integrity, and compassion. And whereas he was later elected as chairman of that board in 2000 and served faithfully for 25 years, providing wise counsel, steady leadership, and a Christ-like example for all of us to follow. And whereas throughout his life, Brother Cahoon served the church, his community, the youth, and his family with a servant's heart, leaving a lasting legacy of faith, love, and service. Therefore, be it resolved that the deacon board and the congregation of Soundside Free Will Baptist Church honor and pay tribute to Brother James Willard Cahoon for his many years of faithful dedication to the work of the church and the cause of Christ. Be it further resolved that a plaque shall be presented by the church to his beloved wife and daughter in recognition of his years of service and devotion as a faithful member and leader of Soundside Free Will Baptist Church. And be it further resolved that Brother Cahoon was deeply loved, highly respected, and will be greatly missed by his church family. And be it finally resolved that we may comfort in knowing we will one day be reunited with him in our Father's house, where there shall be no more sorrow or parting. Adopted this 19th day of October 2025 by the Deacon Board and members of Soundside Free Will Baptist Church.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
Bless your heart.
On behalf of our family, I just want to say thank you. Over the last few months, there's been a hole in my heart, but God has the ointment to heal it, and He is doing that. But you will never know how deeply touched I've been, my family, all of us, through these months, because we're all in this together. And that's what has always meant so much to me here at this church and community and where we live, is because people are for people. And people love the Lord, even though there are things that we are opposed to at times that happens. God is with us, and He blesses us. And I just say thank you, thank you, thank you.